Hi everyone, welcome to the Fight with Teddy Atlas. I'm Teddy Atlas III, and joined as always, my main man, Boxing Hall of Famer, Teddy Atlas. How you doing, bud?
Good. Just finished doing the live streaming. We're up late Friday night. Usually we do these on Sunday, but we are well past the midnight hour, burning the midnight oil, and we're doing it for you guys, the fans. We're doing it for ourselves too, but we do it because we have you guys. There'd be no reason to do it if you guys didn't allow us into your homes and into your minds and your hearts sometimes. And we appreciate all of you. But we just finished live streaming Joshua and Jake Paul, the event. I called it an event more than a fight, but it was an event and was a successful event as far as the numbers and everything. And they made a lot of money and all that stuff. And we'll get into, really how it panned out and what the people, that's what counts, what you guys thought and how you felt. I think that's probably mixed a little bit. But like I said, we just finished live stream. We had over 50,000 people with us during the live stream, so we were glad. I was glad to get back in the seat of commentating and just talking with the fans and being able to have them chime in before the fight where they were asking questions, and I was able to answer the questions to them, having a little Q&A, and then doing what I've done for so many years, commentating and breaking down different things. So I'm doing it with you. It was fun. We're gonna, we've been doing more and more of them, and we're gonna continue doing them. So, take it from there, bud.
Yeah, I'm just happy to make it up here, upstairs to the big
Yeah,
leagues.
no, you're a winner. You're a winner. You got out of the basement. You've always been a winner. I knew you'd get out of that basement. You climb, you crawl, you scratch, you claw, you get out of that basement. You did. You climbed out. I didn't even have to throw you a rope. You did it yourself. You pulled yourself out. The fans, we listen to the fans. The fans. Actually, I'm not joking. Sometimes I joke. People never know if I'm serious, but and I use a lot of metaphors. But there were fans that were actually saying after the last live stream we did. I forget when it was, when we were both together, and they said we want more of Teddy and Teddy together at the table. So our great director over here, Richie, said, hey, let's do Joe Rogan style. Let's do, here we are. Good to see you.
It's good to be here, bud. And like you said, we just wrapped up a great live stream. We did have a lot of people join us, and we're going to be doing more of those. We said it on the live stream. Come over to the ropes. Check us out there. We're going to be doing more here at the YouTube channel as well. So let's get right into it. Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua was in Miami. That was on Netflix. And in the lead up, there was so much talk about the ring size, 22 by 22, not the standard 20 by 20. There was talk about the 245 pounds that Joshua could not go over. A lot of stuff that maybe played in this one, but one thing that did play and that you said that nobody else did, that this would go more rounds than people think. You nailed it. Everybody out there that I saw
made money because, we right away we started, I said it's going to go over. And then I said it's going to go the distance, which it didn't quite get there. But it went over. And to your point, everybody was saying 1 round, 2 rounds, whatever. But that it would go over. And it went over. So I felt vindicated with that. I never want to let you guys down. I never want to let the fans down. But what I do feel, I never want to push you to bet. You bet if you want to bet. And I try to give you more info to help you. And if you just want to watch the fight without betting, I try to give you more info to look for things, where it can be more enjoyable to watch. I know you like watching with me. I say this is going to happen. Sometimes it happens before we get to it. And that's kind of cool. That's kind of fun, all that. But I did want the fans to know that it wasn't going to be just 1, 2, 3. And there was a lot of reasons. We'll get into the reasons for it. A lot of people are going to say it was WWE, it was fixed, it was that, but there was more to it than that. And that's what I'm here to talk about. But the point I was making, and I give it back to you, is that we had fans already tonight, and we had fans the last few weeks, to be honest, saying, and again, I don't want to force no one to bet, but they're saying, Teddy, you're making money for me. That kind of warms my heart a little bit. Teddy, especially around Christmas time, get a little bit more presents under the tree. People saying, hey, Teddy, you made money. You made money for me. And already we got some tonight that was saying, Teddy, I wasn't going to go over, but I went with the over. And, the stocking's going to be a little fuller.
No question. I mean, what I was saying before is every so-called expert out there, I saw a lot of the previews and predictions for this fight. And when they were asked, they said Joshua in 1, Joshua in 2, maybe 1 or 2 said in 3. Nobody went past 3. You did. The fight did. The fight went 6. And you just touched on it. A lot of people are saying this was WWE, this was scripted, this was fake. I want to hear your thoughts, your take. After just doing the live stream, what'd you make of it?
I'll tell you what I made of what I didn't make of it. For going in, I didn't know if it was going to be, I knew it was an event. I didn't know if it was going to be a real fight. It became a real fight. And a lot of people are going to knock me for that, and I could care less. But I'm just saying what I know, what I think I know from all the years in boxing. It came down to a lot of factors. The reason why I thought it was going to go rounds, I wasn't sure if there was going to be a silent agreement. I wasn't sure there was going to be a sparring match agreement that will spar for a while. I wasn't sure. I was honest about it. That's why I said it's going to go rounds. I wasn't sure if there was an understanding that, we'll play a little bit and then we'll get a little more and, whatever. So that was part of it. But there was real parts. Say, that's the fixed part. That's the WWE part. That's where the people, and I'm with you. I get it if you want to think that. Here's why I picked rounds, and this is what I think I saw, and I know that in my mind I saw, was the fact is that a lot of people didn't think about. 15 months off. There was going to be some rust. There was going to be some hesitation. There was going to be some time. You get knocked out by Dubois freaking 15 months ago. There were going to be ghosts in the attic. I don't care who you're fighting. You get in the ring again. It's going to take a minute to exercise those ghosts. The rust, you want to call it rust, whatever. It's going to take 5-6 rounds to get rid of the rust. But it's going to, the doubt, the self-doubt, the being in the ring for the first time with nothing in between after being knocked out. That was going to be a play. And then the size of the ring, 22 by 20. It's usually 20 to 20 is pretty usually around average. And it's 22 by 20. More room to elude, more room to move around, right? I thought maybe go in there with track shoes. He didn't go with track shoes. He should have probably had better ankle support because he hurt his ankle a little bit. And that, he did. He rolled his ankle a little bit. So I thought those were real factors, physical factors, not WWE factors. Also, some of the other factors was that Joshua is not a fast starter. So here you got 15 months in activity, not a fast starter to begin with. Come on, you with me, people? Now you are, because now we already know one more rounds than we thought. But with all of those mitigating factors, I'm thinking, yeah. And then, of course, with Jake Paul, knowing he's going to have a serious fight plan. And that serious fight plan has to be, and the reason why he asked for 22 by 22 is to move, to be elusive. How long can he do that? And to what point does the air get thin? And I thought the air would get, and that's what happened. I don't think it was WWE. The air got thin. He went to Mount Olympus. He went to Everest. He went to Mount Everest for the first time, and he said, I should have brought an oxygen tank. Because when you're in there at that stage, at that level, with that kind of pressure, with that kind of talent, and you've never been there before, you start to freaking, the air starts to leave the room. You start to feel that pressure. And the pressure is mental and it's physical. It's both. And you start to gas. And I didn't think he did himself a favor being more muscular, because you gas faster when you're more muscular. That's just a physical, that's a physiological fact. And all of that. So I think that came into play at the end. I don't think it was fixed in any way. And then Joshua, I thought maybe while he's being tentative early, and Jake was going to be able to survive early by moving around, having those tactics, I thought maybe Joshua might look for just one big punch. And there were rounds he looked for one big, and you can avoid, even if you're a guy who's not that level of a fighter yet, maybe it's a lot easier to avoid one shots than two shots. And then when the pressure was being put on him, the one thing that Joshua wasn't doing, again, he's a slow starter. And again, he's coming off 15 months inactive. And again, he's coming off being knocked out in his last fight. He was more tentative. He didn't move his hands a lot. And you could survive easier if the guy ain't throwing a lot at you. You don't need Teddy Atlas to tell you that. I mean, you know, one big shot could take you out, but it's less likely that one big shot's going to land if the guy's not throwing other shots. So I thought with less artillery in the air, less bombs in the air, that the guy would have a chance to get to later rounds. And there were less bombs in the air. He just wasn't thrown a lot. And another thing that just transpired, that, you know, he's bigger and stronger, Joshua. And you know on the inside he could have a big edge. And when they got inside, he allowed himself to be tied up. I mean, Jake did what he had to do. He tied him up. He clamped him down. But he allowed. It takes two to tangle. And then I said it during the live stream. I said, it's up to Joshua to stop allowing him to tie him up, to step back, to push off, to work, to manhandle him a little bit inside. That will dissipate Jake faster. And I think a combination, Bud, of the physical pressure and he started to evaporate him. What's the saying I always use when doing all those fights for 30 years, ESPN? I said, when you see a guy evaporate from the pressure, the physical and the mental pressure coming forward all the time, it's like looking at a little rain puddle in the middle of July on the hot asphalt, and all of a sudden you look at it 10 minutes later and the puddle's gone. Where'd it go? It wasn't any magic trick. It was called evaporation. You can evaporate in the ring. And you saw Jake start to evaporate from the fourth round on. Fifth round was where it really caught up, you know, but from the fourth round on. And it was a combination of finally that pressure getting to him. It wasn't WWE. Look, if you want to go the WWE route and say there was something fake going on, then you say, well, maybe there was an agreement he would take it easy. All right, that Joshua would take it easy the first 4 or 5 rounds, and then do what he had to do, and at least it would be a show for Jake. You know, at least we get somewhere. That's the agreement. And no, I don't think it really. It's possible, but I'm open to understanding why people are complaining on the internet about that. But I'm going more with my feelings and my theory and my experience. That I saw a guy break a guy down, break his will, physically tire him out with the pressure, with a guy who's never been on that platform at that level, and evaporate him physically and mentally and emotionally, start to take his will away. And at the end, maybe he could have got up. Look, he got caught a real nice shot. The left hand to the body, he had him hurt a little bit. He had him in the corner, Joshua. The left hand, he did it like a pro. A pro who's in there in a calm place where the other guy ain't calm. Not to that level. And he hit him towards the chest, the stomach with the left, and then the right hand to finish him blow. Beautiful setup. Hit him clean and dropped him. But he wasn't out. He stayed down. I'm not going to say, well, I will say it. He took the count. I'm not saying that he, you know, could have got up. I'm not in his body, but it seemed like he could have. He was conscious. He was cognizant.
Well, the ref waved it off at the time.
But I mean, he was, I don't know if he was getting up, but he was down there. Listen, before that, he was evaporating. Again, he was exhausted physically and mentally. He was being broken down. And that, to me, that's not WWE. That's the way this kind of match would go. That the experience would show, the talent would show, and it would take time. And again, the guy coming off 15 months being knocked out would be a little, he'd be a little trigger shy early on, no matter who he's in there with, you know. So I think that at the end of the day, I said when I picked it to go rounds, and Wall Street Journal called me the other day, and they did a story with me talking about the fight. And they said, you're the only guy who said that it could go rounds. What's making you say that? And I said, you have to look at it through the lens of Jake Paul. He's been a great businessman. He hasn't made too many mistakes, right? Like him or hate him, he took a vision and look what he did with it. Look what he did. He's got a good promotional company, and he's done a lot for women fighters too. But for himself, he's built something. And as a businessman, he's looking at it in a different prism. He's looking at it, you and me look at it, win or loss. Guy is either on the floor or the guy's standing. Guy's hand's either up or it's not up. Win or loss. We make it very simple. Jake's looking at it different. For what is a win? The writer even said, he said, Teddy, that's interesting. I said, what constitutes and defines a win for Jake Paul? If he does what people don't expect him to do with a former two-time heavyweight champ and a freaking gold medalist, if he does what no one expects him to do, goes rounds, survives, takes a few shots, fights back, lands a few shots. He did. He landed a good right hand. Joshua took it well, but he landed a good right hand. If he does that, again, forget about our world. It's his world, Jake's world. It's not about what we think constitutes a win or loss. He's won. And when you saw him leave the arena, he won. People were congratulating him. Because he gave an effort. He did more than they expected. He did more than they expected. Like, holy cow. He actually went in there with the former heavyweight champion of the world, former gold medalist, two-time former heavyweight champion of the world. And he freaking had a moment. He had a couple of little moments here and there. So that's why I thought that. I said, for him, it's a whole different thing. That's how he wins. And he could come up with a plan with everything I laid out there that could actually make that happen. Listen, again, I know some people, and I don't look at the things every once in a while, somebody, you'll show me a couple of people, but you're good. You don't show me the comments. The good. Listen, it's like what we said years ago. You don't get caught up with the newspaper headlines. You're never that good. You're never that bad. You never get caught up in that. There's gonna people love you, people hate you. It's always gonna be that. So you don't pay attention, and for different reasons. Some people are jealous. Some people are just haters. Some people have a axe to grind with you from who knows where, and they're too cowardly to put their name. They're just attacking you from somewhere, in somebody's basement somewhere, in Hanes' underwear, whatever. And it's easier to do that, and that's part of being in the Big Apple. If you're going to be doing public stuff. So I understand that. But I know that there's people, and I respect it. I respect people's thoughts that, Teddy, I know some are going to agree with me, and some are going to come after me and say, Teddy, come on. That was a WWE freaking Hulk Hogan thing. They had the whole thing going. Yeah, I'm sorry. I leave room for you to think that, to get to that point. If you really want to stay on that, you want to be mad at Joshua that he didn't get rid of him in 1 or 2 rounds? Did you forget that these are not machines? They are human. Even if he's in there with a guy he's supposed to be much, much better, and he is better than, and showed he was better than, you're still coming off 15 months inactivity. I'm saying it again. Being knocked out in your last fight. You're in there with a guy giving him a lot more room to move around. And you're a slow starter anyway, historically. I'm not shocked by this. Obviously, I said it's going to go around. So, at the end of the day, Jake's going to do it again. He'll walk away. He's going to have a little more confidence now. I know he got beaten. He's going to have a little more. He's going to say, gee, I went to this. How about I go to this? Nobody thought I'd go to this. I went to this and I lost, but maybe I could find something here. Not here yet, but here. Yeah. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, and he's going to say that he did it on short notice, that he was training for the smaller man, that he didn't bulk up, that he could have used more time. I'm with you. I think 100% Jake Paul won tonight in those ways, right? He is the winner. And for me, I would critique more on Joshua, right? Why wasn't he pushing the jab a little more or closing the distance sooner?
Oh, that's a problem. I'm so glad you brought that up. You're wrong. You're right and you're wrong. He was pushing it. He should have been snapping it. That's what you mean to say. You meant do it more. Do it more.
Why wasn't he banging the body more earlier in the fight? Why wasn't he rougher in the clinches? We saw Paul go to a knee 10 times, I think.
Yeah, well, 10. He started falling apart. That's what I mean by the puddle was evaporating. He was falling apart mentally, physically. But to your point, and I'm glad you reminded me, when he started going to body, the whole thing changed. It changed with the rounds, the late rounds, because the air got thinner. He never been there. He never been to the top of the mountain with this kind of guy. So the air got thinner. But when he started going to body, it made all the difference. Why wasn't he going to body? That was part of the thing, too. He wasn't going to body enough. Take air out of the tires, you know?
Well, I think the reasons why he wasn't doing that is everything that you said in the lead up to this fight. He was getting rid of those cobwebs. He was getting rid of the ring rust.
100%.
He was getting used to the 22 by 22 ring. And I thought he could have did a little better job in the
He was going back in the pool again after almost drowning.
And he did it with a new trainer in his corner. Brought in the undisputed heavyweight champion, Alexander Usyk's trainer. Got rid of Ben Davidson after his loss.
Oh, my goodness. I knew I had you here for a reason. Yes, you reminded me of that. With all the intangibles, and they're not that intangible, they're real. But with all of those X factors, one of them, too, that could make a little bit of hesitation, can make a little bit of an adjustment period. Anyone else, the fans would give him the break. They say, he's going through an adjustment. When you change trainers, you got to adjust. It takes time. You could be a little off. You could take a step backwards before you take 2 steps forward. There's an adjustment process. Nobody gave him that because he's fighting Jake Paul. Because he's supposed to do that. So nobody but that was part of it going rounds too, with a new trainer, with a new philosophy, a new guy talking to you, a new approach. That was going to almost guarantee a couple extra rounds, just to make that adjustment. So you're coming in off 15 months of activity, being knocked out, right? Bigger ring, we'll throw that in there, and a new trainer. And you're looking past it. Let's be honest, a little bit. I mean, he was ready. But you're looking past it a little bit because they're already talking about Fury and freaking Joshua. Oh, my God. So you're looking a little past it, and then you say, I just got to get rid of this piece of business. I got a little piece of business here. I got to get rid of it. And then all of a sudden, a piece of business is over here. Boom! I better start I better get myself together. And then he got himself together a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. You nailed it. And the other thing I want to say that you touched on the live stream is when you talked about it just now, that puddle evaporating on a hot summer day. Because you saw it. We all saw it. It was happening in front of our eyes, right? Around the 4th round or so. Well, credit to the trainer of Jake Paul. His coach, I think it was his trainer, Love.
We didn't have the sound up, but I agree 100%. I said it. I give him credit. Yeah. He became a motivator. He did what he had to do.
He saw that puddle was evaporating, and he needed to try to revive him. And it didn't work, but it was the right thought, and it was right on, and you were all over it during the fight. Just like these shirts we're wearing, he needed that. And unfortunately, he didn't have you.
Be ready for the fight!
He needed a motivational speech, and Love tried to give it to him. So give him
a
credit.
Good trainer needs a couple of things. Sometimes you got to give pure technique. Why are you getting hit? Why you're not hitting them? Strategy, adjustment, the whole thing. Stay on track, whatever. And then sometimes you just got to be a freaking fireman. Sometimes you just got to be a motivator. And the trainer, to his credit, we didn't hear the whole thing, but we saw it. To his credit, it looked like he knew he had got right in his ear. It was kind of like, you get out of that hole you're going down into. You're going down into a hole. He could have done a Hulk Hogan. Brother, pull yourself up, brother. Get out of that hole. Come on. We didn't train to freaking let it go away. We're here. Come on. But so he tried. He did. I give him credit. They tried to do the right thing there. They showed the realness of it. They saw what was going on. It wasn't WWE. Be disappointed with Joshua if you want to be. Go ahead. I understand. I explain why. Yeah. I'm in the business. This is what I do. So I understand all the reasons for that. But you want to be mad at him. Go ahead. That's up to you. All that stuff. But at the end, that stuff was all real. That was real. He broke him down. Yeah, once he started manhandling him a little bit, using his strength, moving his hands more, going to the body a little bit, not letting him clinch. But just, what do we always say? What is the oldest cliche in the world? And I used to adapt it to my own thing. But one of the old cliches is that pressure breaks pipes. Pressure breaks people. And that's what you saw. Especially people that, certain pipes are thicker than others. So they don't break so easy. They're made out of certain alloys or certain materials, because it's going to be more pressure. So you make the pipe with a different material, a little thicker. But here you had a pipe that has never had to handle this kind of pressure. Never. Whole different, like I said, he went to Mount Everest. I was saying during the live stream, if you're going to be a deep sea diver, you have to start practicing to go down 200 feet, 100 feet. And you start practicing with different air levels, different oxygen levels. Yeah, to get used to where you're going to be. You're going to be down in a dark place where you could get panicky. That uses oxygen. When you're down in that dark, and the air is thinner, and it's cold. You have to have the right oxygen level. He didn't have the right oxygen level. How could he? When he went down there or up there, whichever makes you happy. Either way, bring an oxygen tank.
Yeah, he needed it for sure. And with that being said, Bud, you summed it up perfectly. You did it again now. You did it in the lead up. You did it for the people at the ropes. Come take a look. But you gave a typed out full report, and you detailed all these reasons of why it will go more rounds than people thought. And again, everybody said 1-2 rounds. This went 6 rounds, and no shock to you. No shock to me. So I'm not critical to AJ, because I took everything you said into account. Where I'm more critical of AJ is what you just touched on. If he's going to be fighting Tyson Fury or anybody else at that level moving forward, the slow starter, the stiffness, the lack of speed, right? I mean, there's so many things that I saw in this fight that were not great if I'm a backer of AJ.
He's got an excuse. There's one excuse, bud. That kind of, I hear everything he's saying, but one excuse that trumps all of that in my business, and that is that he is coming off a knockout. He's human. Give him a break. Give him one. Give him one. Don't give him 2. Give him. I know there's a freebie because he was in there with a guy he's supposed to beat, and a guy that couldn't really, even though he hit him a good right hand, he took it, the whole thing. But give him the one, because he is coming off. You're right. Everything you said better be better, but give him the benefit. It will be better. that he will be busier. He will be all more attentive in those areas and more, amped up in those areas once he gets this one under his belt. Again, give him a break. He's coming off 15-month layoff, and he's coming off being knocked out.
Sure. What I'm saying, though, and I don't give him a break, is if you're in there with Tyson Fury next, the way he was chasing and not cutting off the ring, it's going to be a problem against Tyson Fury boxing and moving.
Yeah, but again, his level of concentration and seriousness will be at a different level. That you gotta put that in. When I break these fights down, I've been doing pretty good. What's the record? What's my record?
22-2. 22 wins, 2 losses.
I factor all this in. I don't just factor black and white. I factor the shades, all that stuff in. And I'll give you one more that for me is Exhibit A in the courtroom of me trying to put my point forward. That you gotta give him a break. And you can't just judge him on just that. Coming off a knockout loss. And you know what? That one's who I'm going to use? Haney, who I also picked to win the title when he fought against Norman.
Yep, right.
Right? And same thing. Oh, he's going to this, he's going to that. He looked terrible. He was coming off a horrific fight. He was coming off a beatdown where he got knocked down several times against Ryan Garcia. He was coming off just a disaster of a fight. He showed heart. He survived it. But, he got hurt so many times. He had to recover physically. He was inactive for a while. And when he came back, he was tentative. Yeah. And I still picked him to win the fight when he fought the undefeated Norman, because I said that one fight is what he needed. But to come back, to get rid of the ghost, to exercise the ghost, and to get back to his confidence.
So I agree with everything you said, but we just said that this was not a fight. This was an event.
That's true.
So does that count to wipe this stuff
because
out?
He still went in there and he still went through the process. But no, it doesn't count to the level.
Tyson Fury's going to have a lot of these doubts too, except he didn't have this before.
Yeah. So that evens the playing field a little bit. Tyson Fury's coming off another loss, 2 in a row to Usyk, but it wasn't a knockout loss.
And over a year now.
It wasn't a knockout loss. And inactivity. And Joshua, look, we're gonna break that fight down when it's made, if it's made. We'll go all in. And we'll put hard hats on with the little light. That's what I do. I put a hat on. I put the light that's coming. And I go in there. We go in. And we'll look at film. We'll figure it out. But right now, I'm saying that the way that Tyson Fury, and I love him. I love what he's done for people. He has given people hope that lost hope. People that were in a place where he was years ago, where with alcohol and drugs. He's very honest about it. He was spiraling down. He was thinking about suicide. And for people that get to that place, oh my God, nobody should get to that place, but it happens. And to think about taking your own life, the greatest gift in the world, to taking your own life, and he was at that place, and he came back, and he won the heavyweight title. So he is a great, he's a great, just inspirational model for so many people. But he has a hard life. He's very honest with bipolar, with depression issues, with up and down. He said many times, if I'm not in the gym, I got a problem. I got to be in the gym doing something. And so he had drinking, he had different things. So he doesn't live as clean a life as Joshua. And I always talk about this kind of fight comes down to who's got the most left, mentally and physically. But physically, let's just leave it on physical. Who's got the most left physically? And both are getting up there in age, and I would say maybe Joshua. Maybe Joshua, because he doesn't live that kind of life. He doesn't have those other things pulling away from him. Cutting into him a little bit, evaporating him in physical areas a little bit. So he doesn't have that. So maybe. But at the end of the day, it'll be huge over there. The UK people, they will come out. They have to freaking get 2 stadiums.
No question. And that was a great points by you. We're going to cover that more as we get closer to that. But to wrap up this fight, the last thing I want to ask you, and we said it all, and gave a lot of credit and respect to Jake Paul tonight, which a lot of people out there aren't and won't.
Yeah, and he won. I know he lost, but there's different ways of looking at wins and losses.
And we laid it all out there. But for those out there who are saying, again, WWE, rigged, fixed fight, what I want to ask you is,
Hulk Hogan.
Do you want to see Paul fight again? And if so, what is next? Where does this show go next?
I want to see him because I want to see if he improves. I want to see him. I want to see him, I know he's not going to be at that level next time with the weight and the size and a former 2-time heavyweight champ, but I want to see his nerve. I want to see what he thinks he can do now. Really, I want to see this guy, it's like playing with a great poker player, and he just lost a big hand. I want to see if he's got the, the onions. What's that great NBA?
Bill Raftery.
Bill Raftery, the legend.
He's got onions.
He got onions. I want to see if he's got the onions to push it all in after he's just losing a big hand. I'd like to see that. So I want to see, who does he pick? Which way does he go? Does he go with a real easy, or does he go with another one that's tough, but not as all those dimensions of toughness, a little better. But does he go with that? And does he improve off this? The next time his oxygen won't be evaporated so fast because he has been to that place.
Well, I got the next opponent for him.
Wow.
Francis Ngannou.
That's interesting.
If Ngannou only lasted 2, Jake just went 6. Ngannou's not a boxer.
Big size difference again, bud. Big power difference again.
No question. That's what kind of makes it more intriguing, right? And anyway, that's just one that stood up to me, stood out. We'll find out soon enough.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Jake can go. He used to fight around 195, 200. Then he went up to 216, right, for this. I think it was.
And he was 227 against Tyson.
Yeah, so he I guess what we're saying is he's got from cruiserweight to heavyweight, right? He could play with that. So does he go down and... I tell you, I'm going to throw something crazy.
I think Nagano should have been the opponent tonight, not Joshua.
That's interesting. There was just a fight. It was a sensational knockout. Guy was 44 years old, whatever. Pulev.
Yes.
Pulev.
Gassiev and Pulev.
All right, here it is. You ready? That, as crazy as it is, Pulev, 44 years old, he was fine. And he sixth round, I think he got knocked out. A beautiful left hook. He threw the jab and then he hooked off the jab. Pop, pop, and knocked him cold. Gassiev did. Gassiev is a former cruiserweight champ. That fight was for some cockamamie title. Don't hold me on it, but it was for some title of, in the Berlin.
It was for a heavyweight title.
Yeah, heavyweight title. The International Berlinsterkampf, Berlin, whatever. Would you be shocked if Jake Paul challenged him and Netflix put up the money and he fought him, Gassiev? Gassiev is up there too. How old is he?
I'm not sure. I think he's at least about 40. But no disrespect to Gassiev, a former world champion.
It's for a title, though.
He's not a big enough name for Jake.
It's for a title.
Yeah, maybe that sells it.
Jake Paul says, I'm fighting for the heavyweight title.
I think he goes more for an Arthur Beterbiev, who's also over 40, who's a much bigger name, who's a light heavyweight, and makes him move up to his weight.
But Beterbiev would be,
Now we're getting crazy.
No, please stop. You don't have anything against Jake, do you?
Not at all. I actually have nothing but respect for what he's doing right now. And anyway, we covered this one very thoroughly. Again, guys, go and check it out. It's up on the YouTube channel, the live stream. You could go watch it and hear Teddy's take and all the commentary for the fight. And with that being said, bud, we're going to keep it moving. Before we do, quick pause. Thank today's sponsor, Athletic Greens. Athletic Greens, the all-in-one daily drink to support better health and peak performance. These guys spent 10 plus years with top nutritionists and doctors to create this formula. It's made from 75 whole food sourced ingredients. It has vitamins, minerals, prebiotics, probiotics, and antioxidants. This is like an insurance policy for your body's health. Athletic Greens is giving our listeners 3 travel packs for free and a free welcome kit including vitamin D3 and K2 and AG1 travel packs when you first subscribe. So whether you're looking to boost your energy levels, support your immune system, or address gut health, Athletic Greens is the way to go. Simply visit athleticgreens.com/atlas. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/atlas. All right, bud, we just covered the fight there, Jake Paul and Joshua. I want to get into more news in boxing, and I want to get into Terence Crawford, the retirement news. Terence Crawford retires as the undisputed super middleweight champion, undisputed in 3 weight classes. He held the title in 4 different weight classes. He boxed from 2008 to 2025. He won 18 different world titles in 5 different weight classes, from 135 pounds to 168 pounds. I could go on and on and on with his accomplishments in his great career. In that 17 years, he was never knocked down in a fight. I think he should have been maybe against the Mean Machine, but it wasn't credited. I just want to ask you, where does he rank on your list with some of these all-time greats? How about some more recent fighters of Floyd Mayweather's or Manny Pacquiao's? But I just want to hear your thoughts on the great career of the great Terence Crawford.
I'm harsh, and people know that I have a little extra. That's not fair. I like fighters that are great fighters. I recognize whatever error it is, and I give them credit. And if I think they're overblown, I say they're overblown. But I look at it, I think, in a way I need to, a way that's unemotional, a way that judges strictly on the criterion of what it should be judged on. the level of competition, what it was, whatever era, what the level, how many fights they had, what the level of competition was, what their ability to adjust to different things was, styles, whatever, what their talent level was, and what those special factors, those special ingredients, were they there or not? Were they able to pull a fight out of a fire? Forget about how talented they were. That's where Mike Tyson, I thought, came up a little short. With all his great talent. I know there's a lot of people that hate me on just saying that. But I'm talking about for the great. You got to be Ali, Lewis. There's, you have Usyk, Crawford. You have to be one of these guys that, besides everything I laid out, your talent, your style, your technique, your ability to fight at a high level, your longevity, all of those things are part of the criteria. But then I want to see the X factor. I want to see the specialness. I want to see that special ingredient that when everything ain't working and one night it ain't working, you're in trouble and you got to freaking pull yourself out of that fire, you can do it. That special ingredient. He had it. So what I will say, people know I started saying this, I didn't complete my statement. They know that I favored some of the older fighters, the Evans of the 30s, the 40s, the whatever. These guys had 200 fights, 300 fights, 150 fights. They fought everyone. And there was a lot of good fighters around. Everyone, nobody was afraid to fight each other. They all fought each other. It wasn't like today, like it's a death sentence if you get a loss. Like the network. Oh, no, don't get a loss. And then you got to navigate to make sure you... Sometimes the managers, by doing a good job managing to get the money, they do a bad job managing the fighter to be a better fighter. That makes sense. Because they keep him from taking a risk in a fight that might make him a better fighter. And instead of just staying undefeated. Back in the 30s and 40s, for those people out there that joke with me and say, oh yeah, Teddy, you like the guys from the 1700s. That's why I liked them. Because they didn't care about win or loss. They cared about taking the fights that were going to make them great. Take the fights that were going to test them. Take the fights that were going to make them better fighters and let them find out about themselves. That's it. So having said that, the greatest compliment I can give Mr. Crawford, who I've always been a fan of, everyone knows that, before everyone was. The greatest compliment I can give him is he fits into any era. I would put him in and be able to handle himself and be competitive with any era. And Teddy Atlas can't give a better compliment. I put him in with I'll say it again, I don't give a damn. I put him in with any era. And I'll go further. He's one of the greatest. Andre Ward was good. He's one of the greatest switch hitters ever. A guy that can fight lefty or righty seamlessly. So he's great at that. He might be the greatest at that. And I'll tell you another thing. I've seen a lot of fights on tape and real life, everything. When I was up with Customato, we got all the greatest fight collection in the world. And we watched all the old-time fighters that most people would never see. So I saw sometimes it comes down, I was touching on it, not just the talent, but something called instincts. Only special, you've seen it in football. I remember one time nobody had this guy rated. Nobody was picking him. John Gruden, this one, you were around them all. And I know you love Gruden, but you were a great offensive maintenance genius, the whole thing. But these guys, you were around everybody. And nobody was saying, this guy, get out of here. This guy, forget it. Well, are you kidding me? You got him on the board. You're standing on the table. That's what you used to call it. I'm standing on the table for this guy. And you said, yeah. And I remember asking you, people looking at the film, they don't see the explosive 40-yard dash. They don't see the pumping of the weights in the weight room. They don't see all of those things that people look at so much. What do you see? That you're standing on the table risking your career. And you were right. The guy became a freaking all-pro. You were right. But I said, what did you see? And you said, instincts. He's a football player. He's always in the right place at the right time. He's a winner. He's this, he's that. All the things you don't always see, right, neon things that strike you right away. They're harder to see. They don't always just catch your eye on the film. And so this is a strong statement. Instincts. He's one of the greatest instinctual fighters I've ever seen. I'll say it again. I've seen them all. He's one of the greatest instinctual fighters I've ever seen. His instincts and his heart and his ability again to pull himself out of a fire. All of those things, his belief. I'll tell you another one that's a great one. I'm giving you a few great. Here's another one. Take it on him. Customato used to say, Teddy, very few people get what I call supreme confidence, where they really believe no one can beat them. I only seen two, he told me, Sugar Ray Robinson and Muhammad Ali, that really believe you couldn't beat them. That was Terence Crawford. So, greatest instincts I've ever seen, or one of them. Greatest switch hitter I ever saw. Moved up in different weight classes, carried it what he had to carry from one weight class to another. Talent, the mental frame, power, whatever, everything. And his technique was good. His people did a great job with him, always preparing him from a technical standpoint. Always had the right fight plan. So what am I getting at there too? Cerebral. You can't be just good with talent, with the physical talents. You have to also be good here. You have to have the cerebral. You have to be smart. He had it all. He fits in with any era. What more can I say? Crawford is great.
You said it all.
One more thing. I'm sorry. One more thing. I said he was a smart fighter. He was special. His instincts were great. He went out with that, showing me I was right, because he's going out at the right time. That's another thing I love about him. That a lot of these guys I love, they go out too late. They lose a little something with their legacy, whatever. But they go out too late. They stay too late. They don't control their ego, their zest for the slime, whatever you want to call it. But he was consistent with how smart he was in the ring. Going out of the ring. He went out at the right time. He didn't stay too long. I love that.
I'm glad you just said that, because what I was going to follow up and ask you was, is he retiring too soon? I know he's 38 years old, but is this Barry Sanders in that kind of way? I feel like there's so much more left, and obviously so many more big fights that we could have been getting.
We're not in his mind, his heart, his emotional system, his body, what he's going through, what he goes through. We just know what we see. We see greatness. But we don't see anymore at this point what it takes for him to get to that great place, what it does to him emotionally, how it taxes his body. We don't see that. He sees it. He feels it. And he's responding to it. He's reacting to it. And he's getting out before it's too late. That's how I look at it.
No, I loved it. I loved everything you said on this breakdown for the great Terence Crawford. I mean, supreme confidence. I mean, instinct, switch hitter, everything you said. Some of the greatest compliments you could ever give to any fighter. You just gave to him. He deserves it. I agree with all of it. And to your point, fitting in with any era, I'll finish with this, bud. He's one of only two boxers to have won world titles at lightweight and super middleweight. That fits in any era.
Yeah, he could, and again, to do it from one weight to another weight, and and to just, and he always handled himself. You never heard anything about him that would make you not root for him, and he's always handled himself like a champion outside the ring too. I like that, that's a good thing. And that speaks to why he was a champion inside the ring. I always think those two things work hand in hand,
Absolutely, and it speaks to his past, where he still has a bullet lodged in his head.
I mean, that turned his life around, and to his credit, he turned it around.
No question.
He turned around. He said, okay, God, thank you. You gave me a message. Here I am. I'm ready now. I had one foot in and one foot out. No, I got both feet in. I'm gonna take advantage of the talent you gave me, and the only way I can do that is to live life the right way, and to focus that way. And I'm gonna do it now. Thank you for giving me the chance. Thank you for giving me a wake-up call.
No question. Great breakdown by you. Great champion. A great career. Congratulations, Terence Crawford. We hope you enjoy retirement. You've earned it. With that being said, bud, we're going to keep it moving. I want to throw two more things at you. We touch on some news. We recap fights. I want to do a couple previews. There's a big card coming up. 2 fighters in your top 10 pound for pound will both be in this card in separate bouts. And if both victorious, hopefully we get to see them together next. But that's on the 27th, next Saturday in Saudi Arabia. I want to start off with the 122-pound king, Inoue, putting all his belts on the line versus David Picasso. I'm not familiar with Picasso. A lot of people out there may not be familiar with Picasso either.
I watched tape on him, baby.
You're familiar with Picasso.
I broke it down. Go to the ropes, and it'll be up. You didn't put it up yet, but go to the ropes. You'll get the pick.
That's right. You're going to get the pick, but I want to hear from you now. What can we expect for Inoue and Picasso?
Inoue is Inoue. When he got dropped, he got off the floor twice. He's been dropped, I think. He can punch. His technique is good. He's got supreme confidence. He can fight outside, inside. He's the monster. What a nickname. And he fits into the nickname. He's the monster. He's proud. He carries her country on his back. I think that's part of it too. You know, that he fights with that pride. He is special. You know, I mean, you only got 3, 4, 5 guys up there at the top. You got guys like Usyk and Crawford. Well, Crawford's retiring, but still, put him in there. You know, you got Inoue. You got Bam Rodriguez, who I kind of touted before everybody was touting him. But whatever. You know, you got, and then you got Bevo. You got those guys. But let's see if I'm leaving anybody out. You got... What did I say? I said Crawford. I said Inoue, Usyk, Bam Rodriguez. You know, Nakatani is right knocking on the door.
You got David Benavidez. You got Arthur Beterbiev still.
Bevo,
you got Devin Haney.
Yeah.
Shakur Stevenson. There's a lot of...
But the top. You got to separate a little bit. And Inoue's at the top, right in the top 3. And... he's fighting a guy, we know Inoue can punch, even though he's moved up in weight classes. He can punch, all these things. He's a body puncher, the whole thing. Puts pressure on you. Picasso's a tough kid. Nobody knows him. I don't say nobody, but a lot of people don't know him. He's a tough kid. He's tough. I think he's tough enough to possibly, if Inoue can't hurt him, this is a big statement, bud. If Inoue can't hurt him, he could be in a real fight. But that's the big if. But Picasso's tough. He's gonna make him earn it. He covers up. His technique is good. The only thing is he covers up. He does a good job covering. That's what he might get beat because of. Oh, Teddy, you're contradicting yourself. You said that it's good. He covers up. He's technically solid. And that's what could be his downfall. Yeah, because he covers up in front of you, and Inoue knows what to do when you cover up in front of a guy. He goes to your body. Bang. He brings uppercuts up. He's got a target. And if you give a target in front, Inoue usually knows what to do with that target. So Picasso will fight you. He's got good height, everything, but he usually fights you. And he'll fight you. He's got a lot of heart. He's got a lot of belief in himself. He's technically solid, like I said. But by fighting Inoue, he will give Inoue a chance to be Inoue. You know what that is. He'll give him a chance. So I can see it going rounds. He's that tough, and he's that solid. But my thing here is, does he go all the way? Does it become a really tough fight? Does he go all the way? Or because he does cover up in front, does Inoue at some point, because he's good at placing punches, he's good at finding that opening. Sooner or later, if you're in front of him enough, will Inoue finally get to him? I don't think I'll give you the answer. I will let you go to the ropes. Is that fair? Is that okay?
It's absolutely fair. I think the under-over is 5.5 rounds for this fight. And
I'm going towards the over, but I'll get more into it on the ropes. But yeah, I'm going towards. I just think this kid, and there's a few X factors going against Inoue. What are they, Teddy? All right, I'll answer you. This is his 4th fight in a year. Nowadays, that's a lot, but he's been big. He might be a little tired. I'm just saying. I'm in the boxing business. I'm saying things other people might not say, but he might be a little tired. And the fight's in Saudi Arabia. I don't know. I don't know if
he stops everybody outside of Japan.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know if the being in that location, just being over there and that venue, and then you got Nakatani's going to be on the card. Maybe he looks past this guy to get to that. Right. And that happens, even for a monster. That can happen. So what I look at everything. When I figure in the X factor of maybe he's looking past, he knows he's on the card with Nakatani, he just wants to get past, so he looks past him a little bit. A tough kid like Picasso, you give him a little break. He could go a little further. And so that maybe he's fighting too often. He's been in real fights for, I don't want to say back to back, but back to back. Close enough.
Yeah, and he's 32 now.
32. The other guy's a lot younger, 8 years younger, whatever it is.
25 years old.
Yeah. So 7 years younger. So at the end of the day, maybe a little tired, maybe looking past him, the different venue. That's it. I'm saying that Picasso, there's a few things that favor him that way. At the end of the day, I'll let you know if I think Inoue, because he lays in front, really does get to him eventually. If it's Inoue, though, if Inoue's a little bit off because of what I just laid out, all right, stay tuned. Go ahead. Hit me.
Yeah, so Picasso, 32-0-1, 17 knockouts. He turned pro at 17 years of age in Mexico, right? A lot of guys do that. We know Canelo did it, I think even a little younger. What I do want to say is this. For everybody out there, if you want to get more, come, like you said, come to the ropes. But his last fight versus MJ was on 9/14. We did the inception of the ropes on 9/13. Right. That was one of the first picks we gave out. And everybody picks Inoue by knockout. Yeah, the monster, 27 knockouts in 31 fights. You gave us, tell me, what'd you give us?
I said it's going to go the distance, going to go obviously over, but it's going to go more than over. It's going to go the distance. Inoue will win a decision. And for that, we were getting plus 300 something.
Plus 350.
350.
So I just wanted to throw that out there because there is value to the ropes, guys. We do go to another layer. Teddy writes these reports, puts out a lot of time. He grinds out the film.
To be honest, get into props. And listen, but we're having a conversation, and it's great. I think that, to be honest, and I'm the first, I want to be always transparent. I probably got a little too cute with the Paul Joshua fight, because what was I saying? It's going to go rounds. So we should have just said over.
Over 2.5, slam dunk.
Boom,
easy.
Boom, bop, bop, beep, beep. Boom.
We don't do easy. You put yourself out there.
I looked for more. I wanted more money to the people. That was even money, right? I wanted to get him more. So I said, okay, we'll go all the way. He had to go 2 more rounds. We'll go all the way. I said over, but I said we'll go all the way, and you get back 300. Or what was it?
It was plus 350. Yeah, I think you closed a little lower.
So I was looking. I got greedy.
Well, we are going to do one more fight here, and that's going to be, we just talked about the 122-pound king from Japan. Let's talk about the 118-pound king from Japan. One of my favorite fighters in the world. Him and Bam Rodriguez. I love Inoue, too, don't get me wrong. But Junto Nakatani.
You love Usyk, too, don't you?
I love a lot of guys. But I'm talking about the little guys right now. I'm talking about the smaller guys. Bam's 115, Inoue's 122, and Junto, the king, like we just said, at 118. He's putting his belts on the line versus Sebastian Hernandez Reyes, also 25 years old, and turned pro at 20 years of age in Mexico. I don't know Hernandez Reyes, but I'm looking forward to hear your breakdown.
I watched him.
I know you watched him. I want to hear your breakdown.
Offensive machine, tough, believes in himself, game, tall, got good height, everything. But he don't use it. He goes forward. He's a Mexican warrior. He goes forward. He fights you instead of using his height. Fundora, I always said Fundora's downfall was going to be that he doesn't use his height, and then he got knocked out. Then he came back and he beat Zhu, and then he's doing terrific. He's a world champ, but he didn't always use his height. Reyes has the option of height or fight inside. He decides to fight inside. He throws a lot of punches. His technique is solid. He throws the punches the right way. And he's a fighter. His mentality is, you're not going to outwork him. You're not going to beat him. And if he don't get hurt, I'm going to say same thing with Inoue. I know that's a big if, but if he don't get hurt with Nakatani, it's going to be it should be a freaking hell of a fight. Both fights should be hell of fights. I'm telling you, those two fights should be great fights. This fight can be a freaking firestorm. It really can be. Because Nakatani, the advantage of Nakatani is that he has the option to fight inside or outside. And he'll use it. And the difference might be fighting outside that might separate him. It might. But Reyes will look to get in the kitchen, like I said, and cook up a storm. You know? Put those flames way up, you know? But if Nakatani, one of the greatest assets of Nakatani is he's explosive in moments. He'll explode in a moment. He'll throw all of a sudden a barrage of punches, and they're explosive. Now, Reyes will match you punch for punch. And he'll freaking be on you, go body, head. He is, and he punches pretty good. But he doesn't have that explosive device every once in a while that Nakatani can show, where suddenly, boom, an uppercut, you know, out of nowhere. That's the thing that gives Nakatani a little edge. But I think it could be a hell of a fight. I think if Reyes can convince, I say things funny, but if Reyes can convince Nakatani to oblige him on the inside, and Nakatani will oblige him.
I was just going to say, I don't think he has to convince him.
If he can do that, what the Italians used to, what a meal. Oh, what a meal. Nick Baffy, the great Nick Baffy, the thin man. God bless him. I miss you so much. I remember you come over and you eat over, and Elaine my wife would make a nice meal for you, and you used to go, So that's what you're going to get. You're going to get a good meal. You're going to get a great meal. At the end of the day, I think Nakatani, I think Reyes, if he can avoid those explosive moments, and if he can get the fight to be in the geography on the inside as much as he can, I think it could be. I think the Inoue, I'm going to go nuts now. I'm going to say the Inoue Nakatani showdown could be in jeopardy.
Oh, don't say that.
No, I'm saying both these fights are competitive.
Yeah, no.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, you painted a great picture.
That's all. Now you want to get you want to get the fine strokes, the rest of the color, then you got to go to the ropes. But I think that I said enough.
Well, there you have it. We got two great fighters from Japan fighting two young, hungry fighters from Mexico in Saudi Arabia. December 27th, we are going to do live stream commentary for that for members only over at the Ropes.
Great fights.
So come over, take a look at the Ropes, guys. Join us. You could have Teddy's live stream commentary there on Zoom. And I can't wait, bud. You just painted a great picture. You got me excited. Not only, I was thinking maybe two blowouts going into this fight. On paper, they're both huge favorites. And we know everybody wants to see them fight each other next, but
they
I'm
both
really
can
looking
punch,
forward to
but
it now.
Inoue and Nakatani have those explosive charges in their hands where, yeah, all of a sudden it could be, but I'm not seeing it.
You will find out. Nakatani turned pro at 17 years old in Japan. It's crazy. It's only, 27 years old now at 31-0.
You know what's crazy too, bud, is how Japan got on the map with boxing. They were always known for having the smaller fighters that were great fighters, but nobody paid attention. Nobody freaking watched them. They were 92 pounds. I'm joking around. There's no 92 pounds. I'm just saying. But, they were like jockeys. They were 104, 106 pounds. Nobody was, paying attention. 112, whatever. And but there was plenty of good ones. But nobody. And then all of a sudden, Inoue came along.
Like Pacquiao. The little guys like a bang will catch your attention. And like you said with Nakatani, he will oblige guys. His style is to please. And he makes fun fights all the time.
He'll take risk. And people love risk. The fans, they're paying, right? They're paying with money. They're paying with their time. They're paying with their passion. They like somebody that takes a risk, and that's why they're starting to like I'm going to swing over. I do that, right? I do. I jump on something from one thing and I say, put a light off in my head. That's why people are starting to go more. Some did already, but that didn't love him as much are starting to love Shakur Stevenson more because we knew he had the talent, but now he took a little risk in his last fight.
Cepeda, yeah.
Yeah, he fought with him. I know you could say Cepeda was made to order, he coming in, but Cepeda, let's not forget, this is the guy who throws a million punches, goes to the body, real tough, pressure, keeps coming, and he handled him. He didn't handle him only with elusiveness and only with defensive wizardry. He handled him by putting punches together too and controlling real estate.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be talking more about Shakur and Teofimo, that fight coming up in January.
Another great one.
But for now...
Can I say one thing about that?
Of course.
All I'm going to say, of course I'm not going to break it down, but all I'm going to say is it's been a while since, I don't know if he ever had anyone, where Stevenson had a guy who was as athletically talented as him in the ring with him. Is that fair?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because Teofimo is athletically talented. That's all.
Big time. Absolutely. Now, another one we look forward to. So that'll do it for this week's episode. I hope everybody enjoyed it. You want to take us home, bud? Any final words?
Yeah, I'm glad you made it up from the basement. I am. You have no idea. Thank you. I'm so glad you're here. I hope that people like this room. I like it. It's a studio, and we put it together, and we got some really famous fighters on the walls, and some of these posters are rare posters. I'll be honest with you. They're like collector's items, and so and a lot of this stuff is attached to our history. So it's kind of cool. And the coolest thing is having you up here. You're more important than a poster. And having your son sleeping down the hallway. My grandson is back. He's here with us. You guys are in for the holidays. So I would just say the holidays are coming up. I want to wish everyone a happy holiday, a safe holiday, whatever it is that you celebrate. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Happy Kwanzaa, everything, whatever it is. But I just want to say thank you for joining us and for believing in us enough to come on the show and put your time in with us.
Absolutely, and I want to say thank you to you. It's almost 2:30 in the morning here on the East Coast. You're a trooper, you're a gamer, you always are. Great job today with the live stream and the breakdowns tonight. And thank you everybody for being with us. As always, please like, comment, subscribe. See you guys again next week.